January 15, 2009, a miracle on the Hudson happened. Then the A320-214 aircraft, on board of which there were 155 people, took off from New York's LaGuardia Airport and began to fall just a minute and a half after takeoff. Before the collision with the geese, the aircraft managed to gain a height of 975 meters. The pic gave a distress signal and informed the dispatcher about a plane collision with a flock of birds, as a result of which both engines were disabled. The pilots managed to deploy the airliner, taking off north and south, to plan over the Hudson River without hitting the George Washington Bridge, and bring the liner down without destroying the heavy refueled aircraft. In total, the plane stayed in the air, from the moment of takeoff to the splashdown, for about 7 minutes. After splashdown, the plane remained on the surface of the water, and passengers through both emergency exits left on both wing planes. All passengers on board were rescued by ferries and boats, which, a few minutes later, approached the splashed plane. 30 years ago, a Boeing 737 flying over the Pacific Ocean literally tore off the roof. Despite serious damage, an experienced pilot managed to land the plane at the airport of departure. That incident went down in history as one of the most unusual in the practice of civil aviation. 23 minutes after takeoff from the aircraft, part of the 6-meter-long skin over the first 6 rows and the cockpit literally tore off. This incident became unique in the history of world civil aviation. An airplane with passengers without a part of the fuselage dropped to a safe height and landed safely. Since this happened at a high altitude, about 8,000 meters, passengers felt explosive decompression. At that moment, when a powerful air rush burst into the cabin, the first pilot turned back and saw a shining sky, the bloodied faces of passengers and pieces of torn metal. It was like in a dream. So unexpected that consciousness tried to save from what was happening, the pilot recalls 30 years later. I turned back, put on an oxygen mask, as we were taught. And he showed the second pilot that I controlled the plane. In the air, the pilots did not know that a sudden pressure drop swelled the floor of the aircraft. 5 beams were broken and the cable going to the left engine was damaged, because of which he stopped and they had to land a plane with one engine. Landing was successful, despite the fact that